Welcome to Taking the Rams by the Horns, a podcast that takes current affairs out of current affairs. This is an award-winning podcast in partnership with Sowetan. I'm your host, Rams Mabote. And by the way, thank you for being a compatriot and following this content, for subscribing, for sharing. Truly appreciate it. He's back. He was here at some point and he said he's going to come back and tell me more about what he discovered when he left the country. So he's back in two ways than one. He's back in studio and back in the country. He seems to be a favorite guest of yours. The numbers are showing that whenever I hear him here, there's a lot of people watching. So THAMI Banda, whiskey connoisseur, whiskey ambassador. And dare I say, my brother is back in here. Mambo.
Thank you, Mambo. Thank you for your great
Welcome back.
It's good to be back home.
Yeah?
It's good to be back home.
Exactly. So you are in a cold place.
Hey, it was cold.
And
man.
it was
It
warm
cold.
here. You decided to go to a cold
Hey,
place.
it was cold. I think Spain was cold, but Scotland was colder.
Yeah.
Because when I got to Scotland, I remember when we walked outside the hotel, they said the shuttle that is meant to pick us up can't drive through. Snow was 45 centimeter deep.
Wow.
Yeah. And I thought I could still brave it out and take pictures. Where?
By judging by the things that are happening at the Madlanga Commission, that's how deep we are in trouble as a country. We are 45 meter deep.
Yeah, we are.
You also told me you lost luggage.
Yeah, I lost my luggage on my first leg of the trip, and I got to a city that I think you would lose your mind at Madrid.
Oh, I would lose my mind there.
Yeah, but it was actually one of those things that you don't budget for in traveling.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what happened. Between us and London, when it's winter, there is 2 hours distance.
Yes.
When time
Saving thing.
difference. Yeah. And then when you get to Madrid, it's 1 hour.
Yes.
So the plane gets delayed in London, and it affects
But it
that
still arrives
1
early.
hour. And it affects the 1 hour in Madrid, right?
Yes.
So when I landed there, okay, at least let me tell you the beauty about the Spanish people. I didn't go to immigration. I didn't go through the security checkpoint. I went straight to the police officer and I told him, showed him my boarding pass, and I said I need to get to the other side. They escorted me right across the staff until I got to that boarding gate, and then departed.
Okay.
I landed in Seville. Luggage is not there. Yeah. For 2 days, I was dressed the same way as I was in South Africa and took pictures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I have
You
two
look like a
old
refugee.
pictures. Yeah, I took.
Spain is full of them, so they thought this guy is a refugee. He doesn't even have clothes.
Bro, I have pictures in Seville, I think, for 2 days, but you won't see the difference, except for the guys I was with. Like, okay, sure, take 2.
Why is it called Seville when the club is called Sevilla?
So
Okay, don't answer me.
I was going to tell you, Spanish people are weird.
Very weird.
Very weird. They have oranges you can't eat. In the street, like in Seville. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's get into it.
No, but before we do that,
Okay.
I made sure I keep my promise.
Oh, yes. You
All
made
the
me a
way
promise.
from the southern part of Spain in Jerez is the sherry, so the best sherry you can find, and then of course the unusual 12-year-old Macallan that you either find on Global Travel Retail or at the distillery. So I said to you, I'll bring you 2 companions. Here they are.
You're a man of your word.
Of course, Mambo, I have to, especially to you.
As opposed to last time you were here, though,
Yeah,
I am not going to sample them today.
for sure.
I
remember.
will.
Yeah.
I'm on a dry season until the end of March.
Yeah.
So the beginning of April, I will come to your place and I will sample them.
We will season you rightly.
Excellent.
Thanks,
I will
Mambo.
send you some shots of it.
For sure, we
as in,
should.
as in
We should.
video shots.
Oh,
shots.
not the other. Yeah.
Thank you, Mambo, for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
There
all
is
the
a
time.
conversation I once had with you, but we didn't go deep into it. But
Yep.
we did have, and I thought I should let everybody into this conversation.
Yep.
There is this group of people that bother me. These people call me, and they call me every day.
Yeah.
I don't know why me. I'm sure they call a lot of other people a lot, but every day these guys call me. They offering me home insurance, and I tell them that I'm homeless. you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
They say, so don't you know anybody else who needs home insurance? And then others would call and say, you've got this gadget,
Yeah.
but there's an upgrade now.
Yes,
And I say,
yes,
but
yes.
What's wrong with the one that I have now?
I haven't complained.
But there's an upgrade.
Yeah.
No, but I'm fine with this one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Should we call you again next week to see if you look?
Huh.
Call center agents are the bane of my existence, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are. They
Yeah.
do something to me. And I try to be polite, you know. I mean, there's half the time when I'm busy and I'm not going to take this. But when they call, I try to engage them.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I don't know. They don't know my circumstances. At my age, nobody has ever called to sell me Viagra. I mean, I think that's irrelevant, right? They don't do research on the people they sell to.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Call center agents. And you work in the business where people who sell these things are calling us.
Us. Yeah, sure. Look, I'll be honest with you. I think I like the first part of your conversation, of your introduction, because they are also fortunate that you pick your phone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that's my first advice. You don't need to ignore your phone, because there will be an important call that you really are looking for,
Yeah.
and you actually miss it, right? Because it happens.
Yeah,
these days,
I mean
right?
the hustle, buddy.
Yeah, so
Phone
if you're
calls
in
are
a hustle,
important.
and anybody who is not hustling, by the way, is not a South African, in my view, right now. Or
Yeah.
in worst case scenario, you're not an African.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got to hustle. So you have to pick that line. But the interesting thing is you use the first technique in dealing with them. You choose to be polite. So
Yes.
there is, number one, it's always advisable to say, be polite,
Yeah.
but turn them down. So thank you for reaching out, but unfortunately, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that because call center people are trained maybe with 5 key negative answers that you're most likely are going to give. So they are ready for those.
Wow.
So
So these are scripted.
call center people have a script of what to say, how they introduce themselves. And I can give an example. If they are looking for one TL Banda and I say, I'm THAMI, they pause because they expect me to say, yes, I am.
Yes.
So the most interesting thing is, don't say to yourself, I've been caught off guard. Say, I will catch them off guard. And the first part is being polite, right? So
Yeah, they're not expecting politeness.
no, they're not. They're already expecting you to be hard. So they have the 5 hard responses that have been prepared.
Yeah.
So the first one is to say, no, my name is Tam. And they say, but this number belongs to you. You say, no. Unfortunately, at this point in time, I'm not interested in the service that you're going to give me. So that's the polite
Yes.
part. And you put them aside. The second one is probably the most interesting one that everybody else adopts, and they fall prey, and that conversation becomes longer, and it's the one of being hard.
Yes.
You know, and you become negative. In the negative part, they then start to look for responses that they were given.
Yeah.
And that's why all of them irritate you the same way. It's because the lines are similar. So if he's selling you car insurance,
Yeah.
he's expecting 2 responses from you. I'm fine with the one I've got.
Yeah.
And then the second one is, oh no, I don't have a car. Okay. The one that says, I'm fine with what I've got, they would say to you, we're not looking at substituting the one you've got. We just want you to compare the quote
Yeah.
with what you
Yeah,
paid.
please listen to us so that we can show you.
Hear us out. Okay. That's one. So they are ready for that
Yeah.
one. So if you say you don't have a car, then they would ask you if you know somebody who has a car.
Yes.
So if you want to catch them off guard, sure, the first one, you will rather say, selling car insurance, bro, I would do with the funding for a driver's license right now. I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that there's so many bad drivers in South Africa that I don't want to be one of them.
Yes.
Right? Honestly, I would like to have a driver's license and prove to these guys who drive so badly that you can do the right thing. Perhaps without even being insured, because you can do the right thing.
Damn it. You know, on the other side of that line, there's a 21-year-old, doesn't drive herself, doesn't have a car.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, how do I deal with this?
How
now?
do I deal with this? So you used 2 things. You actually are hard, but you're delivering it politely as well.
Yes.
To say, no, actually, I could do with somebody who will sponsor my driver's license right now. You know, I would.
You see, and that's cruel, right? I'm thinking it's very cruel.
Yeah.
But this is again, it's a 21-year-old, right?
Sure.
They got themselves a diploma, couldn't get a job in the line
Yes.
of work that they got the diploma in because, when they were desperate, they did a diploma in biblical studies. Or
Yes,
whatever it is,
yes,
right?
yeah.
And I'm not dissing.
Beeps.
Yeah, I'm not dissing anything here.
Yeah.
But they end up getting a job at,
call
company
center.
X,
Yeah.
a call center. They get there and they train them and they go do this thing.
Yeah.
when they train them,
Yes.
are they training them to get a sale, or are they training them to create relationships?
So you hit the nail there on the head, because most of every sales agent, whether it's a call center one or in-person
Yeah.
conversation, they are all selling a product. They've never had a conversation with you to identify your problem and
Yes.
then provide a solution. They never get into
Yeah.
you. They have what they've got.
Couldn't be bothered about you.
They couldn't be bothered about you. So I'll give you an example. You've never in your life, that may need the other help that you spoke about in your introduction,
Yes. Yeah.
never complimented a lady before you set your proposal across. You've complimented her
Yes.
one way or the other. There was a compliment. So in this case, you are asking for attention span. So if you are going to say to me, hi, my name is from DIYZ, and I have got this for you. You didn't even say I've got a good voice, for crying out loud, because nobody tells me that on the
Yes.
line. I don't even know what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So they are not trained to build relationships. They are trained to sell a product. And it's because targets have become numbers than humans. Targets must first be humans for you to make numbers.
That said,
Yeah.
are you do we still need them though? I mean, you see, because now I'm starting to feel like these guys are not effective.
Yep.
I wonder if companies are making sales through call center agents anymore.
Yep.
So,
So one of the things that I worry about in the South African context of the labor space is that we have the labor force, but we don't appropriate it in accordance to the needs of the consumer. We appropriate it according to the needs of the business.
of the seller.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. If you're saying it's a 21-year-old, most likely is AI savvy, techno savvy,
Yeah.
untrained just by exposure, right? If you had 10 of those that are in your business and you said to them, I want prospects for my business, which is what they think I am.
Yeah.
And you said, develop a good social media interactive page that can, those guys will do it without a sweat.
Yeah.
And you are also introducing them to a different skill. And you are also exposing yourself to a skill that you didn't know you have within the business. We don't think like that. So unfortunately, we think we are employing people when we are still, for a lack of a better term, shoving the product down their throats. It's not the right way of doing it. I mean, it's like me trying to have an experience of a taxi ride from Soweto to Johannesburg with my daughter, who has never been into a taxi. And the first thing I must worry about is the fare, because they are not willing to move to digital payment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that. They want hard cash. So unfortunately, we have diagnosed right issues in the country when it comes to labor force. And unfortunately also, we don't provide the proper appropriation of that labor force according to needs. If you pay attention in the call center space, none of the companies that call you have ever been at your face on any social media platform. Why?
Because that's not convention. That's not what they do.
That's exactly the problem. That's exactly where the problem is. So you're spending a lot more money on a telephone bill plus a person when you could be spending less on data than the person as well.
I mean, as I said, they could be selling me that stuff. Right? Nobody ever calls me to sell me golf clubs. You know, they never call me to say there are these specials at these golf courses. You know, things that I do, things that I like. Nobody says to me, oh, by the way, we know you support this football club, and there is this.
There's this T-shirt. Or they won't do Mambo, let me be honest with you. So I this is the best response I give to the ones who sell me a funeral cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
I'm
when-
dead already.
Yeah, no, so when they say to me, we are going to sell you we're coming from this place, and you know you can cover so many members of the family, and you say, I'm the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the church where I go, we've already been covered. They'll bury me, those guys. They have no choice.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario, there's a pauper's funeral in South Africa. And they think that he didn't negate, he didn't accept, but the language he speaks is not the one that is conventional.
And also, it's not in the script.
It's not in the script, because that's what happens with these guys. But Mambo, let's go back to issues of scripts. You've worked in media for many, many years. Best punchlines from actors, actresses, or anybody in the skill space where there is a script is when they ad-lib.
Yes. Yes.
So why take them out of their natural character to have a conversation with a person? I've called Nando's. and complimented the person on the other side and said, oh, wow, I haven't had a voice like that. But tell you what, I'm looking for
I
a
did that with
delivery.
AA.
Yeah.
And it's very recent.
Yeah.
I called AA and I said, I just spoke to somebody. I'm amazed. I'm impressed.
Yes.
Because I even asked for her name. I said, I want to tell them your name.
Your
name.
name.
And surname. Right?
Precisely. So that's what happens, because on the other side, they think they are speaking to robots as they have been made
Robots themselves.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Now that you've introduced the funeral cover one, because I think that accounts for 90% of
your calls you
the
get?
call center agents in the world,
Okay,
in this country at the very least.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you become funny,
Yes.
but they don't even hear you because they're sticking to script.
Yeah.
I remember this woman calling from this famous company and they said, funeral cover, and I said, I will never die. So that thing is like useless.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
She doesn't laugh.
Yes.
And if I were here, I would have laughed first and then
Yes.
said, no, it's not for you. Say.
Yeah. Yes.
For other people around
you. Correct. Okay. Because in sales, what guys don't appreciate is the ability not to sell the product to the person, but sell the existence of the product around the person. So I'll give you an example. Everybody would say to me, hey, it's like you enjoy whiskey. Eh? I'm like, yeah, I do. And then they say, do you have a bottle? And sure I do, but it's got whiskey that I haven't finished.
Yes.
I'm willing to give you a bottle only if I finish the whiskey inside. And then they say, but this thing is expensive. I said, no, it's not expensive. It's how you value the people around you.
Yes.
Because it's not about you. It's about the people around you. So once the mentality changes from being a direct individual to people around you, you've appealed to sentiment and emotional attachment. That's where a sale is made. It's never made when you sell it to me directly. It's never.
So you've joined this world I live in called the world of golf, right?
Yes.
That sounds like a venue. Playing golf. One of the parts of golf that I think is dying, and dying very fast, is the caddies, right? For a number of reasons. People bring their push carts and they claim it's for fitness reasons.
Yeah.
People can't afford, it's getting expensive to play the game, let alone to pay a caddy.
Yeah.
Others then complain about caddy attitude, that they're not good or they steal from them, whatever the case.
Yes.
So this caddy comes to me one day and I say to him, look, your industry is dying. I've known the guy for years.
Yes.
I said, you need to redesign yourself. Right?
True. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you need to redesign yourself and stop selling being a caddy.
Yeah.
Right? And he says, but what else would I sell? Say, if you came to me, and you're not going to win with everyone, like any other sale, right?
For sure.
And said, may I carry your bag? You don't have to pay me. I'm already here on the course. I'm going to be sitting all day. I may as well walk and show you around the course.
Yeah.
You can thank me if you want to at the end, but I'm not selling you to pay me.
Yes.
So do you think somebody's going to give you a bag and not pay you at the end of that?
Look, that's an amazing pitch. It reminds me of one we shared a long time ago, and you were mentoring a lady who was doing facial stuff, and then you said it's great to always advise people to drink water because generally that's good for, so it will help the product.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think we fail to do, Mambo, there is a need to reinvent yourself daily. There is. If you take stock of what happened yesterday, you need to reinvent yourself daily. And one of the greatest things that guy has is the knowledge of the course.
Yeah.
And imagine if he said everything that you said, and you said, on top of that, I can actually tell you that if you tee off at this time, hole 1, 2, 3, and 4 are a problem. They hold to you a little bit longer. Suddenly, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I probably will even tell you that I had a problem in that hole. So it's probably this, no, trees are like this, so the sun is blocked. Suddenly, you're giving intel of the course rather than selling your ability to shoulder the club.
But
the bag.
The training, however, formal or informal, is to grab somebody's bag, look for their balls if they lose them.
Yeah.
And for those who can't, you then help them to read the lines on the greens, right?
Yeah.
But people are taking their own chances. They got golf carts, they will learn to read greens. So what else are you selling? And they're not doing that because the conventional training is that you sell me the stuff that I can now do myself. I'm letting the cat out of the bag a little bit. So I've been talking to Gauteng Department of Tourism. Right?
Oh, wow.
And one of the projects that we're working on is on caddies.
Oh, beautiful. That's lovely.
I said, let's now get to caddies who say, Okay, so you are about to play Soweto Country Club.
Yeah.
You know golf. I can't teach you anything about golf.
No, yeah, sure.
But as we walk along, I'm going to tell you a bit about this township called Soweto. Its history, what happens, why things are like this and blah, 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 blah. Now, they become tour guides, not caddies.
No, yeah, because you also are out there to break the monotony of your daily living.
Yeah.
So if this person is engaging you on a subject that you may have a clue about, but not real
Not
information,
enough.
right?
Yeah.
It helps, right? And you don't even feel the strain of the walk. You probably will let go of the cart because you think I have a person who is engaging me.
Yeah.
And one thing that we fail to also understand in the space of sales in that aspect, for example, Mambo, is that the client that you impress, number one, at worst, they will refer someone.
Mm-hmm.
At best, they return to you. Because business has never been made on new business. It's made 60% on old business.
Without a doubt, right? Repeat business, and it's also cheaper. Repeat
Yes,
business
it's
is also cheaper.
Yeah.
But this guy, the kid, I go back to him. Then he brings problems to me as I'm trying to help him. He says, yeah, but there'll be guys who will agree to this and then give me absolutely nothing. So what would have changed in your life? Because you're still going to go home with absolutely nothing. But the difference now is that at least you walked. You're not sitting there vegetating. You walked, which is good exercise.
Yeah.
You met somebody new.
Yes.
They may be stingy as hell, but it's okay.
Yes.
Right?
And
So what can we compare the two? Which one is worse?
And perhaps you denied yourself an opportunity to learn a lesson because you expected money. Because that's the other part that makes us to fail.
But he then gives another problem. He says, yeah, and then, guy will give you 50 rand. Then you have transport money back home.
And the right to come to the job tomorrow. Mambo, the thing is, in our country, and I will always remember Menier and Ruvu when I was doing, I think it was standard 8.
Yeah.
I must count now, grade 10.
Yeah.
At Minerva
I know
High School.
it's 2+ or 2 minor.
Yes,
but
yeah. You must daylight saving in London.
It is.
In winter. So he used to say to me, when he would coach me in a debating class, and he would say, hey, Banda, in South Africa, we have a lot of manufacturers in making good, making trouble, but most of all making excuses. So he says, we are all manufacturers in making good, making trouble, and most of all excuses.
Yes.
So this guy is denying himself a chance to learn. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have toyed with an idea of approaching a lady for a good reason. In a mall, you walk past me and I say, it's a beautiful scent. I would like to buy that for my woman. But I must now say that before I say hi. Because if I say hi, you are assuming there's something else that I want. But you don't realize that actually the effort you put when you were in your room and past the mirror was so that I can exist and observe that.
Yes.
So if you are apprehensive in everything that you do, unfortunately, you close yourself up to opportunities either to uplift yourself, get positive energy, and above all, make money.
Yeah, but nowadays when you say hi, we must also have e-wallet. But
Hey, yeah.
but Langa is his name, by the way, the KD, right?
Yeah.
So it bothers me in the example that you're making with the lady, that you give her a compliment and then you can say hello, right? To that point. And I said to Langa, when you don't do that with the guys that I'm advising you to do, you know what you do now? Because you know me and you know Sipo and you know the guys as we leave the course, you're asking us for money. But you lost a chance to sell something to somebody to make legitimate money. Now I must give you money when you're not my KD. It becomes a problem. Right? Now I'm starting to avoid you because Langa is going to ask for money when he sees me.
If I had to speak to Langa and I had listened to your conversation, I would tell him, you are lucky Rams is not asking you to pay his invoice for free consultation. Because what you taught him is not about sales. Yeah. It's a life lesson to say the opportunity may not come your way. You create it, but don't get an expectation out of it, but live through the opportunity and pick up the lesson primarily. If we all had that mindset, Mambo, we would even survive suicide, man.
So Langa does not learn from his own colleagues, by the way. Because there's a guy who then left being a caddy and took a gig in the change rooms. Now, in the change rooms, what they also do is that they offer to clean your shoes after.
I was about to think, surely it must have been.
That is not a paid service. This is a courtesy service from the course.
Yeah.
But guess what? We never give that guy our shoes and not give them a tip. That guy makes so much money than a caddy on any given day.
Less exposed to the sun.
Right?
But
he's not asking for money.
No.
He says, may I clean your shoes?
That's all. That's all.
Got a little box there on the side. You may choose what you want to do with that box.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, we choose to put something in that box.
To put something in that box because you feel this guy has just saved me. I mean, it's not nice to clean your golf shoes, by the way, after the game.
Yeah.
I mean, even
especially
clubs
for
themselves.
people who don't find the fairway a lot.
Even clubs themselves, it's not easy. I mean, I'm nowhere near pros, but I know how frustrating it can be. So, I think one of the interesting things, Mambo, that we're picking up is nobody wants to understand the art of selling, but not pitching, like selling and selling by building a relationship. And that's why I'm saying, don't do a pitch. It's a relationship. When you met me and we said, we can do this, you said to me, I would like to have a conversation with you. I'm tired of this conversation being held behind closed doors, and I think there's a lot more people that can benefit out of them. When you said that, I thought, actually, we always make sense to each other when we talk. Why not have that conversation and then share it with other people?
Even if, by the way, as they comment, they say, you're talking nonsense. It's fine.
It's fine. At least we know. At least we know that what we said was nonsense, at the very least. So, unfortunately, Langa is not realizing that, So, call centers or any other person, in fact, there's no one who is not involved in sales.
I was about to ask this question. Does it mean, therefore, we are all sales agents?
So, Mambo, let me tell you how much of a good salesperson you are. When you were born, you cried, and they had to guess what you were going through. As you were growing up, you were doing the same thing. Your mom will try feed you, will try bath you, change your nappy, carry you, do all these things.
I have at that moment, it's an itch under my foot.
It's an itch under your foot, right? Or sometimes it's just an irritation that you're trying to close your eyes and the neighbor next door is playing I Stand Accused. And it's making noise for you. So mom has to lullaby me to this. I want to poop. So you've been selling and people have been buying you, not only the product, you in how you pitch yourself. Why all of a sudden you can't do it? Why? It is because you don't realize that the thing that you did in the beginning made you more valuable and that your gift was worthwhile.
Looking at my clock, and I'm not sure whether I want to get into the next conversation, but I will get into the next conversation because I think it will take exactly the same amount of time, but we'll try and cut it short.
No problem.
One of the things... before I go there, is there anything else you would have wanted to say about sales agents before I move out of this conversation?
Study yourself better than you study the product and make yourself a better human being. That's it.
Wow.
Study yourself better than you study the product and make yourself a better human being. That's it. People don't know my name at airports, but they sure do know the whiskey I represent.
Yes.
That's it. Worst case scenario, I'm the whiskey guy.
And as the cliche goes, yes, we buy the whiskey.
Yeah.
But more often than not, we buy the guy.
Because
when we like this guy, we're going to buy the whiskey.
Buy the guy.
We bet the jockey, not the horse.
True. That's true. Thank you, Mom.
Good.
Thank you.
I said to you, I think it was the last conversation, but it could very well be the second last conversation we had.
Yeah.
That I'd like to talk to you as a father of a daughter.
Oh.
And I want to premise this conversation by saying, because you and I are also fathers of sons, that in spite of everything else that people may argue,
yes,
I am now discovering that it is more difficult to be a father of a son than a father of a daughter. Without stealing a thunder from you about what you're going to talk about, because I suspect that with a daughter, my job is to be this great dad, this great model of a man to her, that when she meets other men in the future, she would have seen great men in me.
Yeah.
This protector,
Yes.
I mean, bloody last weekend, I had to stay up till about whatever time because I had to pick her up from a gig, a party or some dance and somewhere, because, I won't let her take it. Uber at 1 a.m.
Of course. I
would have done that with my son happily and still switch off my phone. So, but with my son, there is this thing about, I think I work harder not to be harsh on him, to be a better me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I stress a lot about, am I not being too tired on this fellow? Am I not asking too much of him? I find it much harder, but that's my theory. Am I hallucinating?
Maybe let me start with the son, but obviously we're talking about a daughter.
Daughter here.
Sons battle two things from dad. One, if you are lucky, a great grandfather, like a wonderful grandfather. So your father had a great father, okay? And then the stature of your father, okay? So you are caught in between two men, because as you grow, there are things that you would have looked at from old prince and you say, this I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Or I'll do it, but differently.
Yeah.
Right? So you reinvent the father you know.
Yeah.
And then when your son comes through, there is now a new encyclopedia here. The one that you were taught by the old man, yours, and then it all comes to him.
Yeah.
But the common denominator in this is that you want a better version of yourself.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
You are actually fighting to see a better version of yourself. And I think if we openly said that to our sons, I'm going through a huge battle with mine because I want a better version of myself, right? So it is based on that. However, when it comes to our daughters, there are two things, Mambo, that we are doing with our daughters. And I thought about it the first time you threw it at me, and I started to watch what I do. The obvious one is the one you mentioned. You want to be a dad, present, protective, and all of that. But there's one that you've actually underplayed, or we never pay attention to it. And I'll use myself as an example. I'm actually dating the younger version of her mom. And I have an open canvas to shape this woman until I make her for myself. And over time, they then emphasize who they really are. So it becomes a beautiful journey. I wanted her to trust me, and I wanted her to feel that she is protected, because there are other fathers who do other things. So that's safety net, for sure. But all of a sudden, you start to realize when you are going out on dates for ice cream, for all I care, that the conversation is more of a friend than a daughter. Why? It's because you are dating the younger version of her mom. And that's the main thing. Because the part of you can easily identify. But the mother you won't know. So that's what you are having. And by the way, just before your question, Mambo, you will see this, that some people will see you with your daughter and they say there's huge resemblance. But 9 out of 10 times you see the mom.
So true.
Yeah.
So people romanticize this father-daughter relationship. Right?
Yeah,
People
yeah.
go, oh, how nice. I mean, you even told it will get you lucky if you see that, that you're good with your...
You're a good man.
Yeah,
you're
you're a good man. If
You're
you
a good man.
Take care of your daughter.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, I think that while it may be true, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's praising fish for swimming. Because I'm supposed to be that to my daughter anyway, right? It's not like...
It's competition for dating another woman. That's what they're failing to accept.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
They're just competing with this one. Yeah. That's all.
But the reason I'm mentioning this is that I want to ask you, do you consciously work on what you're going to do, what conversations you're going to have with your daughter? I mean, or do things just happen?
They just happen. They just happen. In my space, they just happen. Yeah. I'll give you an example. I was picking her up and we were going to church on the first Sunday when I came back from from Europe. Yeah. And as she was running towards the car, she started laughing. So I started laughing. It wasn't a smile. It was a laugh.
A laughter.
And we got into a car and that laughter continued, Mambo, until I held her by the hand. So I asked her, what are you laughing at? And she says, I'm also laughing that you are laughing. Okay? And then I said, okay, that's funny. You started to laugh. But then she says to me, I couldn't wait for you to come through to the gate because I knew you were picking me and we were going to church. So I said, oh, then church must be nice. She says, no, I'm picked by you. So it goes back to basics that we would have taken for granted.
Yeah.
Fast forward to say the moment of being lucky. The person who is lucky, when you pick them, they're already interested on the destination,
Yes.
not the moment of being picked. So my daughter reminded me, actually being here matters. The destination is good,
Yeah.
but being here. So I don't rehearse it because she forces me to be present to the moment. So
Yeah.
I can't plan. I genuinely cannot plan. I have gone to surprise my daughter and pick her up from school. And when I get there, there's a particular space where I park. My daughter first runs by she will drop the bag and run towards me, give me a hug, and then we will have to walk backwards
Yeah.
to pick the bag. And I always ask her, why do you do this? She says, you don't tell me when you're coming to pick me up. At least I will prepare myself.
Yes.
But there's that moment, and it's genuine. On the other hand, I've also seen as she grows, there's huge competition with the mom.
She wants,
Huge.
she wants to be
It's-
the girl in your
yeah,
life.
you know, there's huge competition with the mom. So based on that, I mean, I remember the first time when Wezi challenged me, she just said to me, when are you taking me out for dinner? And I thought,
I
you.
remember you told me that.
Yeah, like you. Yeah. She says, yes, me.
Yes.
And we had to go out for dinner. And she ordered. And by the way, don't underestimate these kids, Mambo. You know, when we went out for dinner the first time, I was surprised that I thought I would recommend what she should eat. She orders a steak and she emphasizes medium rare. And I said, do you know what medium rare is? She says, yeah, I like it a bit tender. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, but then you walk away having learned something new. You're like, I thought you are the little girl that I changed the nappy a couple of months ago. It doesn't feel like it's years. And all of a sudden I have a fully grown woman who knows her taste.
So there's this phrase that's always used that, girl children have
Their father wrapped.
Their father wrapped on their fingers, right? I tend to think not. And maybe I'm lying, right? I tend to think not. I tend to think that I'm the strictest person on my daughter than her mother is.
Yeah.
Although I think they have more fights than I have fights.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. But could that concept be the real meaning of it, saying we are scared to be bad fathers to our daughters, and therefore it looks like they have us wrapped around their fingers?
The first one, Mambo, that I think we lived through generations with is we were scared to pass them through any man without a model first. I think that's where it started.
Yeah.
The second one obviously comes to what you are saying. I think my daughter, and by the way, I'm already battling the thought that says, when do you start to step back so that she really develops the character of a man she would like to be with, without comparing that guy to you, right?
Which you will always do.
Which you will always do, but you just don't want to be an in-your-face comparison, right? Because I've lived through that too. I had a wonderful father-in-law that I once saw drilling my house and was hanging curtains, and I'm thinking, who told you I can't handle a drill?
Yeah.
But I mean, we've gone through that because of trust. So I think it's not that we are wrapped around the finger. I think we are that protective and willing to be present for the moment to let go. And we are more open to our daughters than we are to the sons. To the sons, we think, watch me and learn. Get into trouble, give me a call.
Yeah.
To our daughters, it's like, yeah, I know it's during the day and you're getting into an Uber. Chances of anything going wrong are slim, but you still stick to the slim. To say, I want to know when you get there. Please let me know. Share the ride.
No, the whole day. Not share everything. Like I need to,
Yeah, but that nature is your protective nature, because let's be honest, they've always been vulnerable. They've always been vulnerable. So
especially in our space.
In our space.
Let's accept. It's
yeah,
not-
in our space.
Things are
Yeah.
bad here.
So, and also the pressure that our space has given us, that we should prove that we can be better fathers.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the pressure. My worry right now is the tension, or probably the strictness that I may have over the boy child may affect the brother she also should develop a relationship with, because it's almost a peer there, right? So that is my only worry. But Mambo, say I'm wrapped around her finger. If it makes her happy and it makes me sleep peacefully, I'll rather have that.
I meant to say this earlier as an aside when you mentioned picking her up from school. So
Yeah.
my daughter knows I hate driving.
Yeah.
Anything for me beyond 30 kilometers is a long
It's a stretch.
It's like
It's a long
I'm going to
distance.
Europe. Like
Yeah.
I feel like Like,
You lose
why?
your luggage.
Yeah, why is there no train that gets me there or plane? Why
Yeah.
should I be driving, right?
Yeah, is.
But I have had a lot of road trips with her because
Yeah.
she would say, no, let's drive.
I do remember the Eastern Cape one, I think. Yeah.
And for the last few years, except this year,
Yeah.
except the end of last year,
Yeah.
every end of the year we would drive to Devon together.
Wow.
She goes on some camp. I go spend time with the boys while she's on camp, and I play golf and I do stuff, right?
Yeah, sure.
And we drive.
Drive
She
back.
would. I said to her, "Let's fly." She said, no, let's drive. And I would drive because she wants the time with me on the road. Although half of it she's sleeping, but
She's developing a particular character. Mambo, this thing is just that we don't talk about it from beauty.
yeah,
Because, like you say as well, it's an expectation. I'll be honest with you. There are two things we do for our daughters. Yes, play that role of being the men that they will grow up understanding and knowing. But the second part is they are also developing themselves. And you can see it in our society where a child has not had a person that would be a model, but to develop themselves through. Okay? You realize that. I mean, one day I had a conversation with her and I was failing to do the assignment thing correctly.
Yeah.
It was this circuit thing and I had to go and buy it from a shop. And being a smart dad, dismantled everything so that I can connect it when she's there.
Yes.
So it looks like I worked on something. And then I said to her, do you know that the toughest part of being a father is not raising you? It's the part that says you think I have answers for every question that you've got. And mine starts with a very interesting line. Dad, tell me something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
now I must get ready. I actually don't have
Yeah.
answers. And then I told her that sometimes I drive home and I look at myself and I still see the 6-year-old boy in me as well. And I'm thinking, oops, on the other side, they see a solution and I may not have it. Yeah.
Speaking of which, what conversations do you have with your daughter? I mean, good, bad, and ugly. And I'll tell you my biggest pain. My biggest dislike about having my daughter is that we can't talk about football, man. We talk about anything and everything. And she's like, I'm not interested. I said to her, but let's go to the game. Like, I'm not going there. Like, man.
So Mambo, I'm very fortunate.
Oh, man.
Because Wezi and I do talk football. In fact, she uses the sign of the club I support to greet me at times.
You can do that,
we know. No. Even though I'm like a little
you're
swai. No, it's an original Soweto derby. Other people featured it's Swallows and Pirates.
Yeah.
That is original Soweto derby. Anyway, others who are coming from Egypt are being freed by Moses right now. Wezi and I do talk football. But this is how it became an issue, positively. I went to pick her up at school, and the security officer at the school happened to support the same club as me. So there's banter with guys who picking kids and all of that. And when I had the banter, I actually made an example with Wezi, and I think she was doing grade 4, if not 3. And then I said, my daughter has never seen me frustrated by football ever since she was born, because Sundowns had been dominant for that period.
Yeah.
So when I started to watch it at home, she actually thought this thing is part of her life.
Yeah.
So she is sadly a Sundown supporter for now, okay?
Yeah.
So we do watch football together. We talk football together. But the conversations that I have with Wezi are wide, remember. I mean, the one that was pretty hard for me to swallow was when, you invite friends to come through for birthday celebration. And there was one character they called Neo.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell, my daughter likes this guy. And it didn't help that Neo and I were in the same space.
Yeah.
So I then called her after, 2-3 days and wanted to have a chat. And they said, who is Neo? She says, Neo is my boyfriend. I said, you have a boyfriend? She says, no, he's a friend who is a boy. and it was just, but it was innocent.
Yeah.
And I started to have that conversation easily. So as she grows up, you ask, is there a Neo now? So I do that. But it's the most uncomfortable conversation, not because of dating or age. It's me being afraid to be replaced. And that's it. That's it.
Are there difficult conversations to have with your daughter?
Yeah, they are. They are, Mambo. I remember mother would travel and I would be with her on my own. And looking at our society, right? You actually want to inspect if your child bathed properly. Bathed properly. right? Now you must get into her private space and find a diplomatic way to say, did you do all mom taught you to do when you bath? Because you can't touch, you can't talk.
Yeah.
You know, it's one barrier I faced in my life.
Yeah.
Okay, the other parts are relatively easy, but that one I will always remember it, because I remember when I was thinking, what do I say to her? How do I say it? That was one huge conversation that reminded me and put me in my place as a father. And we had a conversation about it as a family afterwards to say, you know, this is a challenge. And subsequent to that, when she started to go to her cycle, for instance, she needed to trust me to get the right product. And I said, no, let's go together, then educate me.
Yeah.
You know, and it took me back to that bathing moment. So the bathing one, Mambo, was a big eye-opener to me to say, the world has become so terrible that what would have been an innocent oversight role to play as a father has become a sensitive thing. Because the first thing that I thought in my mind is, what if they ask at school, has your dad ever touched you inappropriately?
Inappropriately, yeah?
Inappropriately, sorry, yeah. So there it was. So that was the difficult one for me.
I think all of us can relate to that. At least present fathers can relate to that, right? Because you have to be a present father
to relate to that.
To relate to that.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
As we conclude, what are you most scared about your relationship and where is this?
Two things. The woman that she'll discover in herself, and she realizes I'm strong, confident, courageous enough that this old man is a point of reference, no longer a buddy of mine. So that's the first one. And by the way, she likes golf also these days.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's coming up.
You're lucky.
I don't know.
You can only take pictures with me. That's about it.
That's good enough. That's good enough. So that's the first one.
She tried to teach me to dance my piano, but I'm stiff. But yeah,
I saw you on one social media platform. The second one that I'm afraid of is I don't know if they would be doing it in their time. But I don't know what the conversation would be like, no matter how short or long the distance is, if I have to walk her down the aisle. Like, I don't know what conversation I would have with her. Not because of nothing to say. I have a lot to say, but it would also not be proper at that particular time. So it's those two moments that I'm scared of, because it's symbolic to me. I would literally hand her over at that moment. I think the negotiation, the lobola stuff, is easy. It's got pride.
Yeah.
But if I had to walk her down the aisle and have this moment where, if you were Michael Jackson, you say, this is it.
This is it.
This is it. Yeah. You know, I will stomach the kiss, sure, but the aisle walk. So those are two moments that I'm really, really scared about. And interesting enough, because she likes you. If she sees this clip, she'll now know Dad is afraid of this. I'm afraid of her growing up and discovering who she is as a woman and the courage that she has and uses me as a point of reference. But more than anything, is walking her down the aisle.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope you both live long enough to have that moment.
Perhaps I'll subcontract it to you.
For me and you, I hope you both live long enough to then tell me what you did to deal with that moment. Right, so that you come back to me a week later and say, hey, this is how it that thing we spoke about in 2026.
Yeah.
It happened and this is what I went through.
Yeah, sure.
What do you say finally to someone like the both of us, who's a father of a daughter, especially a young daughter in their teens or pre-teens?
Yeah.
What do you leave with them to realize that whether they are in a good space or a bad space, whatever?
Yeah. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy it. It's short-lived. You know, they grow up and you are teaching them everything. Did you eat? Did you bath? Did you brush your teeth? Blah, blah, blah. They get to the teens, like you are saying right now. They're trying to find themselves, okay? If you restrict them, you'll create a monster for the society. So just enjoy the ride and play a coach than an instructor. And that's it.
Thank you, Mambo.
You're welcome, buddy.
I hope that makes me... I'll take these lessons to try and become a better father to a daughter going forward.
I've learned a lot from you also.
I just want to get her to speak football with me, but thank you for coming.
She'll marry a Pirates player.
Well, the one thing that I'm proud of is that
Yeah.
years ago we're visiting a friend, and she's playing with, the daughter on the other side. I'm sitting
Yeah,
with my friend,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we're
yeah.
watching. And then my friend's daughter says, "Oh no, they are watching soccer."
Yeah.
And Nasha says, "Is that not football?"
Oh!
Then I knew I had done my job. She calls it football.
That's
it's
it.
not soccer.
Yeah,
I knew
perfect.
I had done my job.
No, then you did a good job. So that's it. Yeah.
Thank you for watching this episode of Taking the Rams by the Horns. Thank you again for subscribing, or for about to subscribe, because I know you're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
And for sharing everything and for commenting. We love that. It keeps us going. So please do the right thing. From me, Rams Mabote, goodbye and God bless.